Anyway, warm welcome from my end here. My name is Ferro-Thomsen. I'm here to talk about technology, but also how you can use technology to turn your events into a movement, which is not really about technology, but then again it is. Who here is organizing events on a regular basis? Event planners, anyone? Are you all technologists? Alright, someone here, couple. Alright, let's just jump into it. A bit about my background, just so you know who I am. Usually helps. I'm also the founder of a company called Issue, which is YouTube for publishing. A set of videos, documents, kind of simple. A couple of years ago, it got big enough for me. Today it's serving almost 7.5 billion pages a month. So Steve Jobs was wrong when he said that reading was dying. It's just transforming. And at the time I also thought that was a pretty good company, among the 50 best companies in the world. But basically I'm just showing this to tell you that I know something about building new platforms for existing industries. And 2 years ago I sort of went back to my academic background. I was supposed to be a PhD, and I did a lot of events and conferences. And I started doing this in 2003 and 2004. Also from a research perspective, how can we have more knowledge sharing formats within the setting of a conference? And I thought, oh, there's so much technology can help us with. Now we have Wikipedia, we have Google, all that showing us how to do it. So let's see what we can do around events, and that's how I came up with Conferize. But basically, first I'm going to talk about some of the shifts I've seen in this industry, or related industries, that makes all this possible, and where I see this industry is going. So basically, I think this pretty much sums it up. 2 years ago, Mark Andreessen, the founder of Netscape, one of the biggest or most influential venture capitalists, said software is eating the world. This is what we've seen with all these guys that we all know. Basically what it means is that all the industries are now software industries, and the ones that don't really understand that will really struggle to sort of maintain current, or stay current, I should say. And I think this is really a good example. All these industries are now sort of dominated by players that weren't here 10 years ago. And this will also happen to the industry of events. And I think we should embrace it somehow. Because what all this technology is enabling us to do is get together and start a movement, start a riot even. You've probably seen some of what is going on in Egypt and Libya. It just means that everything that's going to happen will just happen faster and stay more connected and be more effective, basically get out there. And I think for democracy that's really proven a good thing. But you can actually measure, this is actually an actual report on how social media has played a part in liberating countries and nations. I think that's really, really powerful. So basically the world is globalized, we all know that, but it's really getting sort of happening faster and faster due to technology. And we're building these communities across borders, across platforms that weren't here 10 years ago. Basically what that means for the dynamics is that the power structure has just shifted. Things are now happening bottom up. And this is a good thing if you choose to look at it that way. At least that's how I look at it. The industry of events, professional events, actually have had similar movements. Hopefully you know open space, but basically, do you know open space technology? It's been going on since the 80s, and I think actually in Denmark, where I come from, it's been really, really happening a lot. But here you basically sort of have the speakers standing in a circle, and you have one law, which is the law of the 2 feet. If you don't like what you're hearing, just leave, please just leave. So basically, you're giving the control back to the audience, so to speak. Don't like what you're hearing, just walk up some other group talking about a different topic. Recently, we've seen this in a more extreme form called the On-Conference, where basically the organizer is just, providing the venue and a lot of rooms, and anyone can just put up saying, I want to speak about cloud computing from 2 to 4, come meet me. Where basically the audience or the delegates are setting the agenda, and they are the speakers as well. This is interesting to me because these are some of the same movements we see happening online. And if you go back and really get nerdy and look at network structure, this is actually an old slide, and it's not really about technology. It just shows us how networks are evolving. So it used to be a really centralized power structure that gets decentralized and eventually distributed. This is a guy called Galloway if you want to look into that. But if you're a creative guy from the humanities as me, this almost looks like a conference. So let's get a little creative and saying, wow, this is actually the old school conference where you have really top down, few speakers, not a lot of activity on the new guys, sort of what we're having right now. And then we have the new school, where you do have top down and democracy, many speakers, co-participation, and technology starting to play more than a part. I think this is the most dominant sort of metaphor we have right now. But where I think events are moving and can be moving is into what we call the mesh, where you have democracy and equality, basically where you can't see am I a speaker or a delegate. We're all a bit of both, we're all participating. And it's more about the community. And it's not just on-site, it's also everything that goes on inside the cloud. This is basically what we're interested in at Conferize. That's the shift from here to here. And, but let's talk about some of the problems, because it's not as simple as just putting a video or document online. You can do that any time, basically. What we're dealing with here are physical events. They are time-based and site-specific. It means you can't just pull it out and plug it into a computer. It's really, really complex, and it exists inside time and space like no other objects that we know of. It's also very social, and it's super fragmented. But we do see events, some entering the cloud. You just have this presentation of all these wonderful technologies that can help you do so. But it's the cloud is virtual, it's continuous, and the content is all over the place. Just think about it. I mean, a document or a video or a sound file or a tweet is just one thing that you can put online at any given time. But an event is social, it's video, it's tweets, it's photos, it's slides, it's papers, it's all of those things. And for each of those things, there's like 10 platforms trying to host that for you, right? So basically it's a mess. But the upside here is that if you're a really good event marketer, maybe you'll reach 10% of your audience. And maybe a percentage out of that will actually buy the ticket, right? That's where the money is. So there's a 90% untapped potential if you figure out how to harness that, provide event value back to your physical event. Basically sell more tickets, add more value for your sponsors, right? That's what we all want to do. So this is the problem that we set out to solve. How do we do this in a great way? So what we are looking to create or sort of popularize is what we call the augmented or hybrid events. We believe in cloud, we believe in conference, but we believe that the two together will be much more effective than just having a few tweets and a few videos and stuff like that. We want to have something that's continuous, where the life cycle of the event is expanded, and you want to have everyone in one place. All the delegates, all the virtual delegates, all the speakers, all the sponsors, even the organizers, everything. Could you imagine such a platform where all of this is really playing together? I think we could. And then we want to have all the content in a nice, unified way. So you don't have to go out to 20 platforms, which personally I hate and I think is really confusing. But this is what we're trying to do. But it's hard, right? This here is one of the short lists that an event planner has to do. And if you take a quick search, it does not have the word website or social media in it. This is probably a more accurate to-do list. All the stuff that event planners have to do, right? So it needs to be easy if this is to work. And it shouldn't be about technology. Technology should just work on its own, right? And it shouldn't be something you do yourself. You know the term do-it-yourself, it came from the punk movement back when you didn't have record labels and stuff like that. You just did it yourself with photocopy and hit the streets. That's why everything is in black and white. We want to move away from doing everything yourself, because like you saw, there's so much we need to do already. So let's skip that. And let's see what comes after doing it yourself. Doing it together. That's sort of the thing we want to, just like we saw in Egypt, if we can make everything work together and everyone work together, we could really have a powerful event community. So this is what we try to do. Conferize is a platform that connects all these main stakeholders, the organizers, delegates, speakers, and sponsors. If we can get everyone in the same place at one time, that would be really awesome. So we made it really easy. You just submit the event, the community starts building, you engage it, you sell more tickets, and you actually get the statistics to show, wow, this really worked. I reached all these people, I know who they are, where they are, I know who bought a ticket, and I can actually convert these people, give them special deals and so on. So you don't, let's say if you're really great on Twitter or you're really great on Facebook, basically you don't know how to reach these people. Facebook owns this data. We're giving this data back to you. This is what it looks like. This is an event, hopefully you know it. This is the IPTM on Conferize. I'm just going to quickly run through some of the elements here. You have the brand elements, you have the when, what, who, and why, all the basic data. And then you have this guy. This is actually, we call it the highlight player, and it solves the problem of content fragmentation that I talked about earlier. So every time someone shares something, slide share file, YouTube video, Instagram, tweet, all those things, it goes into our machine, and through crowdsourcing, we are able to identify what's the coolest stuff going on right now. Because I can tell you, the IBTM gets lots of tweets through the hashtag, and it's just too much, right? So it's not really a problem of getting content, it's about getting the right content. This thing here can actually also play, you can go full screen, so it's almost like being there yourself. Or if you're the event host, you can just embed it on your website. So now you have a turnkey content strategy. You don't need to, roam all the platforms. It just goes right in here, and we use a bit of smartness to show what's the good stuff from the organizer, but also from the community. And if you just scroll down the page, you have this. You can actually see right now 1,500 people. This was last night. I'm sure it's almost stopping now. These are people in this community that care about this event. These are the people you want to sell to. These are the people you want to add value to. These are the people you want to know. Who are they? How many are there? Where are they, basically? And then you have a real-time activity stream. If there's a video being tweeted, we snag that up and you can just watch it in line. You can actually see, just show me the videos, just show me what the speakers are saying. If you're a Conferize member, you just import all your social networks and say, what are my friends saying, right? So there's so many filters you can use to really immerse yourself into all this content. And why do you want to do that, basically? Well, I think the simplest way of showing this is that it used to be that the black thing here is your event. It started a little bit before, and it was all about the during, and then it just died because basically you were out of a job. I mean, mission accomplished. But online, if you start your event online before, you build the engagement, you build the community. You're actually able to sell more tickets because people will know you. They will see, wow, who's speaking? Or is this speaker sharing something interesting? Or my friend's going. All of this stuff is now finally sorted out in one go. And if you use online streaming, you will actually convert really, really well, but it's also real-time, all of the other types of content. And then there's the after. And next time you start an event, you won't start from scratch, you will actually re-engage this audience. And this is what is so hard in today's social media. You sort of start from scratch all the time. Basically, we give you the power back and say, hey, I don't want to start from scratch, I want to re-engage the 2,000 people that were in my community last time. And basically, and they haven't even got away, they're still in the community. So this is basically the money shot here, at least. I think this is so powerful. It shows you, especially if you use all live streaming, and you use other types of content, like anything from tweets, photos, videos. If you make people engage with that, they will actually be more interested in your event. It's what we call it content marketing, basically, or social content marketing, because it could also be a person, if one of your friends saying, wow, I'm going to IBTM, I would want to check that out, and I just get that information on a continuous basis on the conference. I should say that we're running a campaign now, but it's a freemium model. I don't want to get into numbers, but it's fairly cheap. If you just sell 2 tickets, it's back again. But you can actually start for free if you want to check it out. So a lot of the events have done it already. We're right over here on stand 139 if you want to check us out. But I think this has been the way that the music industry has been looking, or they've been afraid because, oh, there's something wrong, really bad. Can we go back? I'm trying to finish on my... Basically, it was a Gary Larson drawing showing that... here we go. Thank you. This is the way that the music industry used to think. We're the big dogs. We're at the center of the attention. We're at the top of the food chain. And then MP3 basically happened, and you are not the big fish anymore. And it wasn't until they really started embracing media streaming and stuff like that that they started making money again. And a lot of the big execs at Sony and so on have really started to, why didn't we embrace this, give people what they want? And people want to consume online. It's just that simple. So I think if we embrace it, we'll be much more pretty side. And this is the movement I'm talking about. Obviously, it's not a political movement, but it's about moving together. It's about being active. It's about learning. It's about staying connected. And that's what we try to do. And so far, we've been live for a year, and almost, well, over 3 million people now are in here. And if you just submit your events, people who would be interested in your event will actually get notified for free about your event, because we're really serious about building the community. And as you can see, 3 million people shared almost 15 million content items, at anything from a tweet to a slide deck, whatever. It's really, really active people. So the community is out there. You just need a little help to basically get them together, right? That's basically my tagline here. Do together. That's my ending. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. Please contact me if you have more.